Let's get into it.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me again. This is Smh Podcast. I am your host, Shania. Thanks for joining me, guys. Follow me on social media. My Instagram is SMH Podcast 96, and my Twitter is SMH Podcast 1. That's the @ for it, SMH Podcast 1. Thanks, guys, for joining me for another episode. Today, we have a special episode because it is the first day of our 12-day podcast Christmas special. I can't wait to get started for you guys. It's going to be fun and exciting, so I hope you guys subscribe. Tell me what you think about it, like it. But today we're going to let's get into it. So this episode is going to be about the Grinch. The Grinch. That was weird and awkward, but whatever. The Grinch is my favorite Christmas movie, so we're going to do a review on The Grinch as a whole, the Christmas movie. But I wanted to read this thing to you guys first. I found it online. It is the 12 days of Corona. We're all going through the coronavirus. If you know somebody that's been through it, I myself have contracted the coronavirus. I did my 14-day quarantine, and I am free. So if you know somebody, or whatever, everybody needs to protect themselves. Wear your face mask. Make sure you wash your hands. Wear hand sanitizer everywhere you go. Just make sure you protect yourselves, your family, and everybody during this holiday season. So I got the 12 days of Corona. I'm going to sing it to you guys. Here it goes. On the 12 days of Corona, in the year 2020, my fortune gave to me 12 border closings, 11 total freakouts, 10 sanitizers, 9 streaming binges, 8 canceled plans, 7 TP rations, 6 feet apart, 5 facial masks, 4 conspiracies, 3 headaches, 2 quarantines, and a case of my favorite wine. Because I know we all been there during this whole coronavirus. Listen, if you ain't had wine, you done had some type of form of alcohol, beer, something in your house, because the quarantines have been crazy. 2 quarantines, y'all. We in our second one, and it's just like, I'm so over this. I'm so ready for this to be over, but we gonna get into it. Like I said, this episode is about The Grinch. The Grinch started off, like a lot of people probably don't know, The Grinch started off as a children's book back in like the 1950s. A lot of people, media, TVs were not like a big thing back then. If you had a TV, you were like considered rich in a certain way, but it started off as a children's book, which then turned into a movie in 1957. No, that's when the book came out. Sorry. The book came out in 1957. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It was a children's book by Dr. Seuss. It was written in rhythm and rhyme. I'm reading a little description to y'all. It follows the Grinch, a grumpy, solitary creature who attempts to put an end to Christmas by stealing Christmas-themed items from the homes of nearby townsmen who lived in Whoville and all that. But then he realizes that Christmas may not be all about money and presents, and that's what makes him have a change of heart. That was what the book was about. It was established in 1954, and then in 1966, that's when they came out with the animated television special, and that was, inspired by the book. And that was a cartoon animated special. It was shown on CBS in December 18th, 1966. And it went on to be like a phenomenal Christmas classic. Like, if you knew, like, it doesn't matter who you were, if you were a kid, an adult, everybody knew about the Grinch. Everybody watched The Grinch. My auntie told me about The Grinch. My mom told me about The Grinch. And for, and anytime Christmas came around, if you were watching, either you were watching Rudolph, Frosty, or you were watching The Grinch. Like, they were classic. It was a classic, movie, that came out back then that everybody loved, everybody gravitated to, because The Grinch was this kooky character who just hated Christmas. Like, who hates Christmas? Like, no, like, who just hates the thought of Christmas, being together with your family, your friends, and then he just, like, and then he hates it so much he attempts to try to steal Christmas. That's how crazy it was. But that's why I love The Grinch. But my all-time favorite Grinch movie has to be the 2000s version with Jim Carrey. If you are a 90s baby or not, like, you love the Jim Carrey version. It's like more like, real life kind of. It's more like it's, if the Grinch was like a real person or like here with us today, like this is how it would be, like Whoville would be this type of place. But it was a comedy drama that was directed by Ron Howard. It was written by Jerry Price and Peter Seaman. It was based off of the 1954 book. Also, Idea. The whole thing has the same storyline, but I feel like in this movie, like, Jim Carrey really embodied, like, the Grinch, the character, because the Grinch, for me, kind of reminds me of, like, Krampus. If you don't know who Krampus is a Central European idea of who Santa Claus kind of is. He's like this weird looking spirit. He looks evil. He looks mean. He pretty much, like, if you're bad, then Krampus is going to come and get you. If you're good, then you get, good things from Krampus, and Krampus won't bother you. And literally in Europe, I think it's in like Norway or somewhere in Europe, they literally have like a human Krampus like walking around in the streets and all that, going after kids and shit like that. And like they tell the little story to their kids, but that's how they celebrate Christmas. Like Krampus is their Santa Claus. For us, we kind of made Santa Claus and like this like fat jolly white guy who's like happy all the time, kind of to appeal more to kids. Like you wouldn't be upset to go to this guy. Like Krampus, you'd be afraid of. Like I don't care if Krampus was nice to me or not. I'm not gonna go by this guy. I'm not even gonna be around this dude. Like I do not want to touch this guy. Like I don't even care if he has good presents or not. I'm sorry, y'all. My audio was getting messed up by a call, but we gonna get through it. I'm on the computer. That's why iPhones can do that. I mean, Apple products do that. But anyway, I love Jim Carrey. He was my favorite Grinch. I loved, when I was a kid and that came out, I remember the promotions for it. We went to Radio Shack one time and I seen like this little Grinch toy. He was like sitting on the little mini toy car and I wanted it so bad, but my mom couldn't get it for me. But the Grinch, like Jim Carrey embodied the Grinch. Like he was this witty, he was evil, he was mean, because I feel like the Grinches, they all had like kind of like different attitudes in a way. Like they weren't all like the same type Grinch. Like the first Grinch, like he was like more mischievous. He was a menace, maniacal and evil. He wasn't really motivated by anything. He was just, mean because he was. Like, he just hated Christmas. Like, and then he tried to steal it and it didn't go the way he planned. And then he realized, you know what? I could fuck with these people. These people ain't too bad, which is kind of like the premise in the second story. But Jim Carrey, I feel like he really embodied it. He was more like Krampus to me. Like I said, he instilled fear in everybody. Like everybody was upset with him. Like that's how they set it up to be. Everybody was like scared of him. They didn't want him around. Like he hated Christmas. Like he was evil, he was angry, he was deeply hurt by just Christmas in general, because the backstory for it was like really hurtful. Like he came up in a family and the people around him just didn't make him feel welcome, like as a person, like as a human being, regardless if it was Christmas or not. So like he had like this deep hate for people and for Christmas. And that's what I feel like drove him more for like the crazy side of like trying to steal Christmas. And, because he was the oddball out and I felt like he was forced to be alone. Whereas like in this new Grinch, there was a Grinch that came out in 2018, which, kids today now loves. I'm not a big fan of it, unfortunately. I tried to like it. I tried to get on it, but it was just not for me. Don't knock it till you try it. Watch it. It's a great kids movie. I know kids will love it. But I just didn't like it because I just felt like the Grinch was just not the Grinch. Like he was just irritated by Christmas. Like Christmas annoyed him. Like it wasn't like he hated Christmas. It just annoyed him. Like there's like a difference between when you hate something and when you're just annoyed with it. Like you can deal with something you're annoyed with. Like he could walk up to people. He could talk to people. He basically had a friend who he was trying to basically say he wasn't his friend, but he was his only friend and all that. Like he wanted to be alone. Like I felt like he just was like Like, he didn't really have a motive. Yeah, he was like, he had like a backstory. Like, he was a lonely orphan kid who didn't have a family and all that. But I felt like that was just like, because of his like non-family life, it made him depressed about Christmas. It didn't really make him like, I hate Christmas, because he had the opportunity to make friends. He had the opportunity to be around everybody else, just people ignored him, and because he was a kid and he had nobody. But if he would have, like, been open to be like, you know what, I don't have a family, I don't have this and that, I'm still try to interact with people. If he would have tried to do that, I felt like he would have more than likely met a friend, met a family, or whatever, because he had a friend at the end of the day. He just was like, it just didn't seem like he was like, I hate Christmas so much, I'm gonna steal it. He was petty. He was petty. At like watching the movie, he was petty during the whole time. Like, he would knock the head off of a snowman, push something off of a counter. But it's not like he was like he hated Christmas, and this is why he was doing all these like crazy little antics. Like Jim Carrey was crazy. Like the way they made the Grinch scene, he was like this evil person. Like, in the first few scenes of the movie, it's my favorite because it's so funny. He literally when he's going into town, he sees these people on a bike, and the bike literally falls apart. These people get messed up because their bikes fall apart, their stuff gets ran over, like, they just get all messed up and all that. And he's just like, man, somebody vandalized that vehicle. He's like, Max, see, I told you this is a dangerous place. And then you see him having the saw right behind him. Like, first of all, he used the saw to damage these people's property. And he didn't care that it caused bodily, physical harm to them, and that it messed up their stuff. And not only did he not care so much about committing that crime, he gave his crime weapon to children to run with, and told them to go run with it. Like, that's evil. That's mean. That's somebody who hates Christmas and hates people. Not the Grinch in the 2018 version where he's just being petty, where he's just like, you know what, I don't like you, so I'm gonna bother you. Blah. We'll get over it in a few minutes, because it's like those people were super happy and cheerful, but it wasn't like Jim Carrey where people were just like, darn messaging. Where those people were just like, you know what, we don't like you, we don't want you around, don't ever come around, because you're just evil, like, even when he, like, after the jubilation, he messed up the car, he burned down the tree, like, he created so much havoc. And it's like messing up people's mails, and it's like, that's evil behavior compared to, like, in the 2018 he was just petty. And even in, like, the 1966 version, he was evil too then. Like, he was cutting up, the floor and all that in people's houses. He was like, he had his sinister things, especially his smile. Like, I love his smile in the 1966 version. Like, he has like this crazy kooky smile, which is really cute. And I don't know, I just feel like those two versions are more for me compared to like this newer age version, was just trying to appeal more to the kids of this generation, which, that's how things should shift. They should be for the kids of this generation, but I just felt like they should have kept it more, I don't know, like the Grinch, not like this sad, depressed creature who just was lonely and searching for somebody to help him. Because that's what I felt like it was. That I just didn't feel like it was like, oh man, the Grinch, like, he hates Christmas. But moreover that, there is a musical, if you guys did not know that. There is a musical on Hulu right now. It's called The Grinch the Musical, and I love theater. I love theater plays. I love watching musicals. That is my ish. So I will definitely be watching it. I've got to take some time out to watch it, but I definitely can't wait to watch it. It's going to be so much fun. So if you haven't watched it, I encourage you to watch it. I can't do a review on that one right now, but I will in the next episode, just to tell y'all how it went, because it went great, which the episode drops tomorrow, because this is the 12th day of Christmas podcast special. I want y'all to love it, like it, and, have some fun. You're going to be back. You're going to be back for sure. And The Grinch is just, Christmas for me. That's why I wanted to do this movie review so much. But let's get into some facts. I did look up some facts for you guys about, The Grinch and different things that you probably didn't know. So here's the first one. Jack Nicklaus and Eddie Murphy auditioned for the title of The Grinch before it eventually went to Jim Carrey. And I don't know if you guys have been seeing on social media lately, but there's a picture circulating right now of Jim Carrey fully dressed up as the Grinch and Eddie Murphy fully dressed up as Mr. Clump for the movie The Clumps, or, one of them, I believe it was for The Clumps. Or the Nutty Professors. Either way, he was dressed up as Mr. Clump, and they both took a picture together, and I thought that was so crazy because I found out both of the movies were being filmed around the same time, literally across the street from each other, and that's why they got such a good picture in their costumes together, because that's rare. You don't really see actors who are dressed up in full costume unless you're doing that movie together, take a picture together in full costume. So they were doing two different movies, two Smash movies, two different movies, and they were able to keep that iconic picture. And the fact that Eddie Murphy was up for the role, it just makes you think, how different would the Grinch be if Eddie Murphy was the Grinch? Because I thought about that. I was like, would I like Eddie Murphy as the Grinch? Because no Eddie Murphy slander. I love Eddie Murphy. He is the GOAT for sure. But I thought about it. I was like, would it be the same effect if Eddie Murphy was the Grinch as if Jim Carrey was the Grinch? Because Jim Carrey has this way of really getting into his character. So does Eddie Murphy. And really getting into his characters, though, and just bringing out that kooky, witty, comedic side of it, whereas Eddie Murphy, he'll really embody that character, and you'll really be like, oh man, that's him, because there's moments where I'm just like, man, like, this is just Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey, but then I'm just like, he's being the Grinch, though, like, you could tell the difference between Jim Carrey and the Grinch, but it's like, I don't know how different it would be. I would be there for it, because I think he would be great, but I don't know. I would still love the movie either way, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Comment and let me know what you guys think. So the second fun fact is the first round of makeup for the Grinch took 8.5 hours. And on average, 3 hours each day after that. Jim Carrey had to have it done over 100 times for the course of filming. Do you know how long that is? That is long. That's like a whole shift of work. He literally went to work all day just to get his makeup on, to then go and shoot, and then you never know how long shooting would be. So it's like, how long, and the makeup for the Grinch was amazing. Like, he looked like a different type of creature, but he still looked human. Like, the makeup was amazing, but it's like 100 times? That's dedication for you, okay? I just seen the other day Tom Cruise hung off the side of a big old airplane and did it 8 times just to get a shot for Mission Impossible. Like, these actors be dedicated. When I tell you dedicated. But Jim Carrey, he describes the costume and prosthetics as literally like being buried alive every day, and was trained on how to cope with it by a man who teaches CIA operatives how to endure torture. That's wild. He had a CIA operative. First of all, it's not like you could just contact the CIA and be like, hey bro, how can can you send somebody out here and who's used to enduring torture, or can teach me a little bit about how to endure torture so I can sit through this makeup. Like that's wild. I think I just grew a new appreciation, because the fact that he had somebody from the CIA teach him how to, sit there and deal with that torture every day, that's crazy. And to be able to put on such a great performance, man, that's why my hat goes off to Jim Carrey. But that's kind of hard. A lot of actors go through a lot of mental breakdowns. I heard he went through a mental breakdown not that long ago. A lot of actors do. Martin Lawrence went through one. I don't know if Jim Carrey ever went through one, but The dude that played the Joker, he ended up killing himself. Off topic, but it's just like when you have to put on a different character and really embody that character, you kind of could have some, I don't know, personality disorders from it, especially having to go through the physical change every day for however long he had to do it. He had to do it 100 times. That can do something to somebody, you know? At one point, it was bad. Producers, it was so bad, producers thought he was going to quit, thanks to frisbee-like contact lenses and the prosthetics being welded to his body. Well, yeah, I would definitely want to quit after that. Like, having to do that so much and endure that so much, like, you're just like, man, did I really, like, want to do this? But, like, what if they're, like, midway through the movie and you're like, I don't want to do this? Like, they'd have to start all over. Ah, man, I don't think I would have liked that. But it's not about me. It's about his mental state. Mental health is real. Check on somebody, y'all. The lyrics of the song Welcome Christmas were made to mimic sounds of classical Latin, and although they were totally non-cynical, some fans asked for translations. Okay. Is that like the last indie scene when they're like, Lahudores? Probably. I don't know. That's interesting though. I wonder what part that's in. Welcome Christmas. Oh, the Welcome Christmas. My slow ass. Oh my god. Yo, leave me alone. Leave me alone. So there are 40,000 computer generated trees in the opening shot sequence alongside one single snowflake. Magical. Wow. That's cool. I think this is all about the Jim Carrey version, though. Now I wanted to give y'all facts about them all. Hang on. I saved another one. Hang on, y'all. 10 facts about the Grinch that may surprise you. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. No. Oh. Nope. I should have just stayed. I'm sorry, y'all. Yeah, they were all about the Jim Carrey one. It's all good. We're gonna go back to that one then. I'm sorry, y'all. I thought I had like this list of like fun facts about all the Grinches. I guess I didn't save that one. I'm sorry. We're gonna get through it. Number 7. The actors and extras who played the Who in Whoville had to go to Who school to learn the way Who's behave and act through choreography, which is so dope. A lot of people should do that for their ensembles or their extras in their movies. You know, have them go to extra school or ensemble school or whatever, just to make sure that they know how to act like that character in the background. So you're just not like giving everybody direction every 5 minutes. I do film, and I recently just shot for this miniseries that I'm doing with these 2 comedians, and I will tell you that yes, direction and making sure people know who they are in the story and the storyline really helps for filming and editing purposes, because people need to know what they're doing at all times, and you have to actually give them play-by-play of what they're doing, because then they'll just start like, oh, well, maybe I could do this. No. You're supposed to do it like this. That's it. But I'm gonna leave it on one more fun fact for y'all. I don't want the episode to run that long, but in Dr. Seuss's original storybook, The Grinch is black and white with pink eyes. And it was only in the animated film that director Chuck Jones decided to make him green. Interesting. What if the Grinch was just a black character? That would explain why in the Jim Carrey version he was so discriminated against, you know, because kind of like he was like a black man. But you know what? That's why now I could see Eddie Murphy playing it, because I think that would make the whole discrimination part more, I guess, emphasize, but I guess you don't want to do that because you don't want to try to make it more about race so much. So that's interesting to think about. Maybe that's probably why he didn't get casted for it. Oh, And I'm going to leave y'all with this one, actually. Nightmare Before Christmas. Tim Burton almost directed the movie, but he had a conflict with 1999 film Sleepy Hollow, so the role went to Ron Howard instead. Oh, imagine if The Grinch was a Tim Burton film. Oh, I think it would have been a lot more maniacal and a lot more creepy if everybody think about it. But if there was a Tim Burton film, I don't know. I wonder, would everybody be down for that if they remade The Grinch in like a few years, but as Tim Burton's version? I think everybody would like that. I would definitely like that. That would be interesting to see that. I kind of want to see that. I don't know. I kind of want to see that. I'm intrigued now. I love Tim Burton. I love his films. I love his work. I love his cartoons. So just think about that. Because I was on TikTok the other day and this guy drew the Grinch as like Tim Burton film. He was kind of like weird looking, but I don't know. I would be down for it. So tell me what you guys think. But I'm going to end the episode off with that. I thank you guys for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. We did talk about The Grinch, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, my favorite Christmas movie of all time. And I know it's a lot of everybody else's favorites. So please like, share, comment. Tell me what you guys think of the episode. Follow me on social media. My Instagram is SMH Podcast 96. And my Twitter is SMH Podcast 1. That is the app for it. SMH Podcast 1. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope you guys had a great episode. Drive home safely if you are driving and listening to this podcast. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much and have a great day. Talk to you guys soon.